What's up with it? So, back to what I was currently saying. To me, now, again, before I really, tried to step out, stand out, do certain things, before I really go out and start just telling everybody, I'm, I have to find out if I'm wrong for myself before I can take that step. And I know once the time comes. Damn. But like I say, I know that where in the world? Oh, wow. But like I say, I know well enough from my own experience that the faith that I have grown won't allow me to. I'm not going to fall further than what I can handle. That I know. But at the same time, me being skeptic, me being, no, just being in a state of being in that state of let's just see. No, guess not. Okay, my apologies. I'm losing my train of thought. But it's to me again. It's as if I've tried to see if Jesus Christ was the real deal. I've tested it. I've done whatever I felt was correct in whatever the moment may be. It's like I'm saying, like even when it comes to the fact of me losing well, technically I didn't lose it, my job, because got offered right back. But then again, I said I shut it down once I did just because I knew I knew something was up. I knew something had to change. I knew that it was time for me to try it. Just because of how everything, because that's how it always works when it comes to the divine timing. It's like, you can't force it. You can't force it one bit. You're not, you're not going to, you're not going to succeed if you force it. Which most people, of course, are still going to. Most people are going to want it now. They're going to want this, that, and the third. But from my experience, I've put myself in a position to where that was not the best game. But dang, head is knocking. But it's as if, like, no matter what was happening on the outside, as long as I focused on growing on the inside and I focused on changing and I focused on evolving spiritually, it's as if it's like everything kind of is set up to where you can't mess up. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to and mm, you're making the effort. And of course, it's not gonna be something that you can just do. You're not gonna be able to just drop everything, quit everything, and step into, you know, oh, who it is. But it's one of those things to where it's like you can't force it. You can't you can't you're not gonna be able to reach that full potential unless you make the necessary change, unless you again step into who you was always meant to become, meant to step into in a sort of way. And of course, most people most people will claim that you're crazy, that you're delusional, that you're like they'll put you into this they'll put you into a box because they don't understand what you're experiencing because they've never experienced nothing like it. So even with me, I will boldly claim what I believe at this point. I will be open about what I believe and what I've experienced. But then at the same time, I'm not at a point of stepping out boldly to strangers until till I see the difference. And most people, hold on. Anyways, but most people, it's like people people grow wise in their own way of thinking, and that right there can be an issue if you allow it to be. Now, again, with me, I am self-taught, or I mean, for the most part, I've learned from others, but a lot of it it's just been me. But then at the same time, it's like it wasn't until I started to learn the gospel, started to try to piece together all these different attributes to the same exact overarching story. And it's interesting because it's like I can see how it could work. I can see how it should work. But also the the young version of myself is it's not very confident. There you go. It's like young version of me, it's not confident in the fact that something will happen, something will change, something will work out. But then at the same time, the new version of me, I've experienced it already to the point to where again, I'll take I'll take the I'll take the weight of doing something different, of trying something different, of trying to be different. most people would rather sit where they are, sit how they are, not make no change, not do nothing different. They'd rather be comfortable instead of be on a path towards growth, towards any type of change, towards anything that could better their outside world. But the outside won't fix unless you fix the inside first. The same thing with Hermetic law. It's as above, so below, as within, so without. It's all intertwined together. It's all a part of itself. And there are these laws that come with this reality, but whenever it comes to accepting Jesus Christ, it's like you get moved out of line and put into grace instead of being put into consequence or karma. It's like beforehand, it's like, I mean, don't allow me to sway your understanding, because yes, you still get what you ask for in a sense. Like, if I mean, there's just natural things like, yeah, if you spend money now, you're not gonna have it later. Like, there's certain cause and effects that are always going to be there. But if you're making the effort, you're getting up every day, and every day is gonna be different. You'll never. My apologies, but you're not gonna be at the point of being consistent really yet, but you can be at a point of you can always try. You can always be better. You can always make a step in the right direction. But most of us would rather keep doing the same thing we've been doing. Keep doing what our parents did. Keep doing what our friends did. Keep doing what our environment taught us instead of, again, stepping out, moving a little differently, acting a little differently, behaving differently. Like, we can we can we can change for the better. We can grow and change the outcome of our life. But to me, if it's not following the path of Christ, if it's not being different, if it's not changing, if it's not you moving differently, if it's not you pretty much have to lose yourself to find yourself. The more that you try to fix yourself, the further you'll fall. The harder it would get, the more complicated it will become, the more people you will lose, the more hardships you'll come, like, because at this point everybody's in a fallen state to where everybody is holding the weight on their own shoulders. And it's like where I am, the reality that I'm walking in, I have worries, but my help comes from above. My understanding has brought me to a point to where I trust that my father, but also the relationship I have with the Christ Jesus, it's like I know that dang nabbit. I don't know what gun to use on this. There we go, it's a little something. Oh, now we're lagging. Love it. But I know that Sheesh. But I know that through my own experience and through my own hardship and through my own self-sacrifice that my faith it'll come through. It will. The fruit of my labor will withhold. It's just all about me being able to stay patient, stay aware, stay vigilant to continue to push forward, to move forward, to be different rather than doing what everybody else is doing. Because, you know, like I say, like with me, I do believe that everybody has a layer of truth that they have. I do believe that everybody has something of value that they can offer. But also, at the same time, I look around and 99% of people don't have peace. Wow. Well, that's interesting. But nobody has peace anymore. Nobody has. It's like everybody's in survival mode, and I'm trying to help people get to the point of where, like I am, where I'm not in survival mode. Like, yes, there are still worries, there are still struggles, there's still doubts, there's still fears. But at the same time, it's like I can't lose almost. It's like even though I do have these hardships in my walk, and I do have these doubts that come up, and these weights that I still choose to carry. Excuse me. I've seen the difference enough in my own walk to where I'm not worrying the same way as I once would have. I'm able to keep the faith even though I'm in the midst of hardship. Like, why is it taking so long to hit them? But anyways, and it's one of those things to where it's not everybody's going to believe me. Not everybody's going to accept what I say. Not everybody's going to. Not everybody wants to change. Most people just want to complain and gripe and have people, pat them on the back, make them feel better, and trying to baby each other. But for me, that's not who I am. That's not what I want. That's not where I want to be. Like, I want truth. So that way I can change. That way I can grow. I can develop. I can continue to evolve in my path of righteousness, in my path of justice, in my path of growing my faith to a point of being able to survive this reality that we're all in. Everybody, we're all here playing the game. We're all trying to figure it out. And most people, I think 99% of people, they have the best interest. They're all trying to do well. But after you get to a certain point of being in survival mode, you can't help but to only look after yourself. Can't help but to you have to move differently because you get to a point where you're in survival mode. And see, like with me, it seems like more and more people are getting put into that survival mode to where they're kind of losing themselves. But it's only happening now that they're getting grown. Like, I feel like I've been in survival mode since as long as I've been here. As long as I've been on Earth, you know, at least 27 years, it wasn't until I started to build that relationship with Jesus that I've actually was able to step out of being in survival and change my story from being a consumer to a creator. Again, just being in survival mode to actually being able to live, being able to grow, being able to change, being able to find myself. And see, like that's at least from my perspective, that's what it seems like what happens. We come into this reality, we're who we're supposed to be, and then our environment, and that can be friends, family, trauma, whatever. Our environment changes us, and we start settling on who we are, and we become what we think everybody wants us to be. So we're in a stage to where we're making everybody else happy around us, but us ourselves are broken, tired, depressed, anxious, fearful, just misguided and fallen. And it's like we after we get to that fallen state, which I do believe is everybody reaches it, it's like how do we get out of the fallen state now? Where do people go? Where do people turn to? Because I can say I believe there's truth in everything, but there's just something really different about those that follow Christ, about Christians. I mean, and I don't really won't say that I'm a Christian just because I think that just it I it puts people into the wrong mindset, puts people into this religious kind of box to where they stop growing in a sort of way because it's if it's not Christian, they won't listen to, and it's like Jesus Christ and his teachings will be the overall authority, but it won't be the only. And again, this is at this point, when I was younger, I had to no, you have to take it slow. You have to move. Oh, you're over there. What a weenie. But you have to, you don't want to confuse yourself. There you go. And it's like for me, I I knew something was there's just something different about him. There's just something that's on a different type of just a different level than what I've seen that most people have. Like, you have like okay, so the biggest one that I can say is the Muslim religion just because I've met so many people and I've been able to see a lot of who they are, what they do, how they move, etc. But it's like they still, even though they have all these different characteristics that can be admirable, but it's like no matter how much they do what they do, they still don't change as they don't become a better person. They still become greedy or, fearful, or how did I not hit that? Uh, but and again, I'm not. I will never say that my way is the only way, because that is one of the greatest forms of ignorance. Is to think that your perception is the only real thing. But at the same time, I I know that Jesus works. I know that. I know that change is possible. I know that. But I'm more curious as to, that's why I want to see. I want other people to be able to like actually sit down, talk to, set up meetings, set up conversations, set up debates. Like that's really what I want to do, so that way I can sit people down and see if they've truly ch- changed and experienced and grown in the way that I've been so blessed to be able to. Because, like I say, I think there's truth in everything, but finding what kind of not cool, but being able to find peace, being able to find purpose, being able to step out of the matrix and become your true self, like that's not it don't happen as frequently. It doesn't show up in the system as often. And then like I say, just the fact that this whole that it's like it's all designed to, what's the word? Dang, what's the word? It's like the whole system is designed to, oh man, I can't find it. The whole system is designed to just, it's, that was a good kill cam. But it's like, it's like the whole system is designed to, dude, what is the word? It's like right on the tip of my tongue. It's, the whole system has been designed to kind of disvalue. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it's like it's all been designed to take away the authority that is Jesus Christ. There you go. That's not what I wanted to say, but it still kind of gets the point across. It's like the whole system, it it's all positioned to the point to where everybody will accept everything that you hear, except if you tell people that Jesus Christ is the truth. If you say that, people react very differently, almost hateful. And to me, it's like, I've never been one like, someone says something dumb, I'll tell you this, yeah, that's kind of dumb, but I've never been one to knock anyone else's belief. But it's like with Muhammad, with Krishna, with Buddha, with um I was gonna say Vishnu, but with all these different beliefs and all these different gods, why highlight Jesus Christ specifically? Why is he the only one that's mocked openly? Why, like, it doesn't make sense. psychologically that people would mock him only if there wasn't something different about him. There wasn't something unique about who he is, about what he says, about how he moves. Dude, why is it all so damn... I can't stand up glitchy game. That works. 2 easy kills, I'll take it. 3, I'll take it. Oh, nice shot. Like I say, it's just something that's unusual to me. Psychologically, why would there be so much time and energy put into that man if he is only that? If he is only just a man? Why so much time and energy? Even now, years and years and years after he's been gone, physically, why are they still dedicating this whole system to, one, mock Jesus, and to disvalue what he's done? And then also, why does the whole system worship Lucifer? And like, to me, it's like, it seems like those are really the main 2 options. Those are almost like your choices of light and dark. You know, your good, bad. I'm not saying there's not other choices, but it's like those 2 are different. Those 2 are believed, perceived, evaluated. Like, it's very different than what anybody else really follows or does. And that's why, like, yeah, I have high hope that one day I will be blessed enough to be able to meet someone who's fully committed to Muhammad's teaching, and then someone who's fully committed to Buddha's teaching, and someone who's fully committed to Krishna's teaching. But for me and my walk, even though I know it's not the only truth, I know that, wow, that gun is trash up close. That didn't help that I was only using one hand, but anyways, I know that what I've experienced is true. I know that I have been able to find peace, find happiness, find truth, find understanding, find hope, find wisdom. Like, I know I've been able to experience all these different attributes and these virtues that at one time I felt would be impossible or delusional. Like, and that's what it seems like. It's like everybody is living in a delusion. Everybody's living in a fairy tale. And it's as if the more that I commit to following the path of Christ and I can't stand that player. But the more that I commit to that path, I've been able to understand more and more. I've been able to see change on a monumental level. And like I say, it's one of those things to where I don't see it happening any other way. Because again, it's like, yeah, I've done the work. Yeah, I've changed. I've made changes, and I've dropped certain things that slowed me down in my own walk. But it wasn't just because I wanted to. It's not, of course, because people don't want to change. People aren't looking to change usually. How in the world did that not hit him? Make it make sense, please. Anywho, it's like I say, just just there's something different about him. Like, and that's what they used to call him. They called him the Way. You know, and they done got changed and altered and then become the whole Christian theology that now everybody's following, and you know all these different rules and changes that they made. But overall, there's truth that comes behind that, and with truth comes understanding. You know, even in the scripture it says the truth will set us free. So to be able to find truth, not just truth that's applicable only to one walk, but truth that's applicable to every walk, and being able to be able to find almost like a supernatural connection with our reality. Because to me, I think anything outside of what you could see, touch, taste, smell, or hear wasn't valid, wasn't something that I would generally put any stock into, just because, again, I'm a skeptic. I'm very hesitant on following just anything. I'm very hesitant on believing anything. And it was interesting because, you know, no matter how many Muslims I met, they were still the same as everybody else. No matter how many Buddhists I met, yeah, they might be a little peaceful, but once you got under their skin a little bit, they're still like everybody else. But when it comes to true followers of the Christ path and, you know, true Jesus believing Christians, there's just something very different about it. Something supernatural, like I say. Like, my dad was a very big part of making me believe, because, you know, I seen a man who once was selling drugs, you know, shooting people, fighting people, you know, typical being a dog towards girls, like typical guy stuff on the worst end of the spectrum, but typical stuff, you know, seen him actually change, seen him able to handle 7 kids while working in construction, and being able to hold his cool, and, you know, just being able to succeed in his own walk. Now he was tired, so I think that's a big reason why he was, you know, why he was called back home, you know, at the age of 47. Like, say he died 5 days before he turned 48. But I think that he did what he was meant to do. He did what was necessary, and he found an answer to find peace. And I think the more that we as a people, or the more that the more that I've committed to losing myself, the more that I've gained. You know, like I say, even with me right now, with this whole me being in a state of unemployment, younger me, I would have taken I would have looked at the jobs that I've been offered, you know, and I got, I think, 4 or 5 different people have thrown offers out there, but in every situation, I would have settled. I would be settling. I'd be going back to the same crap that I've already been in, and I can't do that no more. I I'd rather test and see if what I believe to be true than to settle and be comfortable and continue in the same, I mean, just the same stuff that I've been going through. I mean, because that's what it is. We all are in like a trance almost, or like we're all stuck in like the rat race or the rat maze or the matrix or whatever you want to call it. We're all stuck in this system of control, in this system of defeat. And it's like people can't break out of it. People cannot change, even though they so desperately want to. And that's why, even like with me, that's why I'm here. That's why I've been designed to be who I am, because I know that. Stop. Damn it. This dude just kept on running, didn't he? But I know that through my own walk of faith, I'm gonna wake up a lot of people. I'm gonna show a lot of people that there's something different. That I am different. That I am bigger than these shallow worries like money, like material stuff, like food, weed, alcohol. I mean, anything, you name it, and I will beat it. I am able to. I've seen the change. I've experienced the change in my own walk up to a point to where I can confidently continue to step out in faith. Now, again, it's going to be little doubts. There's going to be little moments of worry, and you're going to second guess, because I mean, that shit is natural. Like, it is. But again, in my experience, I've seen that even with these doubts, even with my inability to see the future and to see the happy ending, I know that it's always happened either way. I know that I've made it thus far, without losing anything that I didn't need to lose. We all have to lose stuff. That's all a part of the walk. Like, we have to learn how to detach, so that way we can grab on to what really matters. Most people want to hold on to the physical stuff, the money, the sex, the I don't know, lust. I mean, I know lust usually is identified with sex, but it's more than just that, of course. But we have to lose these physical attachments that are continuously weighing us down and making us fail to meet the mark that we all have the potential to meet. And like for me, the realization of the resurrection is a big key to that. And again, you may think I'm crazy, but to anyone who knew me in high school or in school in general, to anyone who knows me now, if they were honest with themselves, they would say they've seen a different man. They would say that they've seen me change, seen me grow, seen me evolve into the man that was needed. And again, I don't think growth will ever stop. Not if you do it correctly. I don't think we'll ever stop our path of becoming more and becoming better and becoming who we were always meant to be. But also, we can be left behind if we make the choice. And that's why I believe there are some people who are here who are literally just that. They are examples of what happens if we don't change. Now, I hope that it's no one of importance in my circle, but still I feel that it will be. Don't know who, don't know when, but I know that I will permanently lose people for what I know. But also, I already know that I've already lost people for what I believe. Like, I've already lost best friends, lost family, lost people that I've held at the same regard as family, if not higher, just because I chose them as family. But all for speaking truth, all for following Jesus. It's like I've lost more than I ever thought possible, but it revealed to me what actually is possible, how real the spiritual aspect of all of this really is, how with the right guidance and with the right leader, how we can reach God's glory. Because the kingdom of heaven is within us. It's just about you got to come to him in spirit and you got to be truthful. And to me, it's like, I don't exactly believe now as much as I used to that Jesus is, he's not here to save us in the sense that we all think. I think it's more as if he came to help enlighten all those who was open for. He came to be an example of what's possible if we live truly aligned with the Father in heaven. Because we are all connected to each other. We are all a part of creation. And God is omnipresent. He's inside of everything. He's a part of everything. So if that's the case, then we wouldn't need to be reconnected. We would just need to remember. And even in my own experience, it's like I dang. But it's like you ever came and you've had a life lesson moment where you've learned something, You ever notice it's not like you learn it, but it's almost like you remember it. You're like, duh, why didn't I think of that? Duh, why didn't I see that? I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, what took me so long to come to that conclusion? And it's because we're all in a state of ignorance. We're all in a state of confusion and illusions to the point that I don't feel good, but to the point that we're missing the point of the game. And that's something that I've also realized with this system that we live in. It's like they try to turn everything into a love story. That way people don't think any deeper. They stop at that shallow answer. So again, it's like, yes, I do believe Jesus came to help people wake back up, but I don't believe that just the realization of him can wake you up. I believe that with accepting him, it's like, yes, you do kind of get a extension of the grace and mercy because now it's like you're actually trying, you're doing something different than the blueprint your parents left, but we have to do the work on our behalf. We have to make the changes necessary to step into to find our purpose, to find our what's going to actually fulfill us, what's actually going to change us. So like even with me doing this, like 3 years ago, I never would have imagined it. I never would have deemed it even remotely possible. But now that I'm doing it, there's such a strong fulfillment that comes with it. That comes with being able to spread the truth to people, to spread knowledge, to share that bullet with his face. No, but to share my experience with those that haven't had anything similar, to those who are like me, who are skeptical, who are doubtful, who overthink, overanalyze, you know, who just have a lack of belief. And I'm not saying I'm like that now. Like, I know more now than I ever did, that is true. But also, it's a lot more of a weight to this point to where I I feel like I'm ready to see something else. I'm ready to be the change that I've already seen. I'm ready to step in alignment with what my God wants me to do. And most people would say, "Oh, you're crazy, this, that, third, blah, 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 blah." And again, it's like, I don't really, at this point, I don't take criticism. I don't take advice. I don't take any type of thought process that could alter me enough for me to fall again. Because, and then also, it's like with most people, it's like, why would I take advice from someone who's not in a place I want to be? Everybody claims to have these answers, but everybody's also missing the mark. Everybody else don't have a peace of mind. They don't have a sound heart. They're not happy with their life. They're not happy with the existence that they've experienced. And it's like when it comes to me, yeah, I'm having difficulties naturally. So I'm trying something different. Woo wee! Damn reflexes be on 10 sometimes. But naturally I'm trying to figure it out. Because again, it's a new it's a new chapter in my walk. It's a new step in my existence. A new chapter to experience. And it's been an unbelievable experience to start with, but I can't even fathom it. What could be next? What could change for the better now that I am walking out in faith and that I am applying what I've learned and I'm testing to see if what I know is true or not. But I know from in the last 5 years, I know that Jesus hasn't failed me once. I know that, look at that, and it was the last kill too. I know Jesus has never let me down. I know that I've never lost more than I could take. You know, and it's like every time, right before you break, like of course you gotta break so that way the light can shine through. But it's like every time I break, I think it's gonna be the end of it. But more and more, I've been shown that nothing has been taken away that I couldn't handle. And same thing with this job, same thing with all of, everything in my walk now. It's testing my faith, it's testing to see if if I walk the walk that I talk, if I walk what I say, if my words hold any weight. And I know that in time it will come to it will come to reality for others. Other people will start to see the difference and they'll see the change in me to the point to where it's so drastic they can't help but to see it. But again, it's something that you will learn as I learn. Because again, I never would have got to this point of making videos if I wasn't prepared beforehand, if I didn't lose the necessary anxieties and fears that I had that was stopping me from progressing. But now that I'm starting, I'm realizing how useful it can be and how useful I can be, but also, how fulfilling it actually could potentially be. So it's just about keeping the faith in the middle of this, keeping the faith in the middle of the storm, keeping the experience that I have with my relationship with Jesus Christ, keeping that in the front of my mind more than all the doubts that are trying to take over. But we'll see. Maybe I am crazy. Only time will tell. But thanks for listening. Hopefully it helped you somehow. Like, subscribe, share the message, comment. Peace.